You've lost the spark. Now what? Is it even possible to get it back? You call it quits because how can a relationship survive without its spark? I'm Ronald and I'm a relationship and family therapist. And we're here to understand the phenomenon of losing the spark in a relationship and why you may want to stick around the relationship just a while longer. There are 3 phases of love that all relationships navigate: limerence, trust, and commitment. Limerence is the initial falling in love phase. There is a magnetic pull and you can't seem to get your hands off each other. And there's obsession as you can't seem to get your mind off each other either. Commonly referred to as the honeymoon phase, but not to be confused for love. This initial phase is commonly where disillusionment takes place. You expect sparks to ignite every time you're around each other. But when the spark fades, you begin to question what's wrong with the relationship. There's nothing wrong with the relationship. The expectation built up by Hollywood and social media are only highlight reels and are not grounded in reality. They only set us up for disappointment. There is a physiological and biological component that assists with the initial spark. And you know it begins to fade when what initially attracted you to your partner begins to repel you. This boost at the start of the relationship helps to lubricate our attachment to our partner, turning a blind eye to potential flaws. Because without it, the human race would become extinct. It's crucial to understand that it's normal to lose the spark at the beginning stages of any relationship. In fact, it's inevitable. Our relationship truly starts after the spark is gone. The trust phase of a relationship is where partners begin to test each other on whether they can trust the other. Conflicts tend to be centered around trust. Are you there for me? It forms the testing ground for the shift into the commitment phase, which is the second most common time where couples report losing the spark. The commitment phase is about loyalty. Of all the people in this entire world, it's you I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with. Your partner becomes the default, which is lovely because it invites security, stability, and safety. But along with it comes familiarity. Your partner can be many things in your relationship. New is not one of them. When couples refer to the spark in the commitment phase, they are referring to desire. You lost the desire for your partner. You compare yourself to when the relationship first started and you wonder, how come we don't make love the same way? Desire is the wanting, and you want what you can't have. Commitment is the exact opposite. You secured it, you have it. This is the phenomenon of losing the spark. But the idea that you have your partner is only an illusion. It's the institutionalized concept of marriage that has instilled this idea of guaranteed love and security, which has hindered the notion of voluntary affection and hence desire. Partners misconstrue desire as a trait rather than a state. They attribute it to their partner becoming less desirable over time because they have gotten too comfortable, or they haven't taken care of themselves, or they've become too familiar to be an object of your desire. Desire is a state. It's an ongoing, active process. You didn't just lose the spark, you let it die out. There are 2 types of desire: spontaneous and responsive. Spontaneous desire is desire that seemingly comes out of the blue. It's what most people think of as the spark and is most alive in the early portion of a relationship. At the start, it's easy. You don't need to switch it on. It switches you on. Later on, it's not quite the same. Most people will make a shift to responsive desire, which is desire in response to pleasure. In other words, it takes time to get there. It's kind of like going to the gym. At first, you don't want to go. You feel like you're having to force yourself to go. But when you do, you're glad you did. You act not according to how you feel, but how you would like to feel. That is sex in a committed relationship. It becomes about willingness and making the conscious choice to be in a sexual relationship. Yes, it may not sound sexy. Yes, it's different to when you had the spark. But being in relationship is remaining attached, even when there is no spark. So you've lost the spark. Now what?